Yeah. It is time. You will not survive. Let's fucking do it.
What's up, everybody? This is the PlayStation Lifestyle Underground Podcast. We are the greatest and the only unofficial podcast of PlayStationLifestyle.net. I am Hugo Stiglitz. You can find me on PSN as Hugo Stiglitz _420, and I have 3 other guys with me today. You guys want to say hello?
Yeah, what's up? I'm Steve Bitto. I'm the community manager for PlayStation Lifestyle. You can find me on the forums as Steven Bitto, and you can find me on PlayStation Network as TYLERxDURDEN.
I usually go last, but okay. I am Brian Mieszala. You can find me in the comments sections as Brian Mieszala, and anywhere you can play a game, I am CloudStrife768.
And hey guys, I'm Juan Ibarra, and you can find me on the forums as Johnny Barra, and then PSN as Jakman1997.
Awesome.
That was a great awkward silence, by the way.
I'm going to edit that out later, and this.
Please don't.
Alright.
Okay, yeah, maybe I won't. Maybe it'll be funny. But lately,
Only to us.
Yeah, probably. Lately, I haven't been playing a ton of stuff. I'm playing Just Cause 3. Love that game. Dying Light. Going to be playing a lot more of that for the next week because the following DLC is coming out next week, and I want to finish the main game first. I tried out some of those PS2 Star Wars games. I got in a little bundle that Steve told me about last week. Gotta say, I'm a little disappointed with Racer's Revenge. It is nothing compared to the original Pod Racer and N64.
I was kind of surprised they chose that one over the original.
Well, the original wasn't on PS2, that's why.
Well, Superstar was only on SNES.
Yeah, that's a bit odd, yeah. But, I do understand, because it's
I'm sure it did have something to do with licensing, but...
Yeah, I'm not sure how they got that one over, but, yeah, it would have been cool if they got the original Pod Racer, and with all the upgraded, PS2 emulation stuff. Been playing a little bit of Rocket League. Been getting back into Killzone Shadowfall. Still love that game. And I finished the DLCs of Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor. Also played Project Cars. And actually, I've been kind of wasting a lot of time this week because my roommate got a 4K TV, and I've been kind of just messing around trying to see what I could get my computer to run at 4K. And basically not many. There's not a lot of games that my computer can handle at 4K, but one I actually did run at 4K, Grid 2, and actually on the high settings, not ultra, but high, and wow. I cannot wait for everything else to catch up and be able to play every game in 4K, because it's amazing. I've always really liked, really crisp and really richly detailed and clear graphics, and that's what 4K is. I mean, it's a sight to behold. And the other cool thing is you don't even need anti-aliasing because it's just so high resolution that the little bit of jagged edges you do see are so tiny that it's not. I mean, it's nothing compared to the aliasing we see even with anti-aliasing on. So I like 4K. I mean, hopefully, in maybe 5 years, if we're lucky, we'll be able to actually play a lot of 4K video games, but I'm not holding my breath. I mean, maybe PS5 if we're lucky. But that's about all I've been playing on PC, pretty much. And on my Vita, still playing Badland Not Stop. I love that game. Although today, I played the entirety of Journey on my lunch break. I managed to do it in under an hour. Which was pretty fun, thanks to that white robe. But that's it for me. What have you guys been playing lately?
I have really just been grinding Final Fantasy VII. Over the past, weekend and a half. I played through most of the story, and then as soon as I kind of got close to the end, I started going after the ultimate limit breaks and level 99, and so it's just been like the ultimate grind. But with God mode and times 3 speed, it actually isn't too bad. It goes a lot faster than I remember.
Huh.
Actually, thinking back, it's kind of funny. Like, I can't even imagine having to do this stuff normal speed. And I did, like, as a kid. It had to take, like, months.
More than
so
likely,
ridiculous,
yeah.
but that's about it for me, yeah.
Alright, I'll go ahead then and avoid an awkward long pause. What I've been playing is mostly on my Vita. I've been playing Danganronpa, the first one, and
awesome.
I love it. It's great. I'm hooked on
fucking
that
game.
So what?
It's people say Persona 4 is one of the best games on Vita, and it probably is. But Danganronpa 1 and 2, not the side story. I haven't played it, so I wouldn't know. But the first 2 main visual novel Danganronpas are easily top 5.
Oh yeah,
games on the
definitely.
Vita.
Persona 4 is good, really good. But I'm not that big into the grinding, and I got tired of it after a while. But I'm gonna go back to it eventually. Right now though, Danganronpa has had all my attention, and when I played it, and I'm close to finishing it. I'm like about, I don't know, I'd say an hour or so, hopefully. But yeah, it's pretty exciting. About
how long did that take you?
I don't know. I've been playing it only at night. Like whenever I get in bed to go to sleep, I don't go to sleep, and I just play Danganronpa. So, let's see, a couple nights, about 5 hours each night. A good while. I'd say at least 12 to 15 to 18 hours.
All right.
I don't know.
I've been thinking about getting it. I travel quite a bit, and I find myself on a lot of planes, so I've really been thinking about getting that to help pass the time.
Oh, it's great. The price is a little steep, but I think it's good. I got it on sale a few weeks ago for 16, but usually I see it for like 25 to 30 or so.
That's kind of the reason why I haven't got it yet, is because it's never on sale.
Yeah, but it's good. I'd say you should get it. Other than that, on PS4, I've been playing. It's been a while since I've been on here, but I've played the Tomorrow Children, the beta for that.
Oh yeah, I played a little bit of that too.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was. I'm not sure how to describe it. It was very interesting. And very communist. I don't know.
Yeah, it's really good looking. I love the art style and the graphics.
It looks great.
And it was pretty cool to play and like interesting. It's just like, I could definitely see getting addicted to that a little bit.
Well, it's kind of like the gameplay loop.
Yeah.
It's like
what keeps you coming back? Or at least it's supposed to.
I don't know. It's probably gonna sound dumb if you describe it, but. I mean, basically, you go out to... There are these different islands that appear, and they can be completely different in appearance each time. Like, one was this giant face with missiles falling to it. Others were like what you would expect an island to look like, but basically, because they're out in the void, you have to take a bus over there, or maybe if there's someone built a bridge, you might be able to hop from section to section to get over there. But basically, you mine stuff. You collect it, you get attacked by these weird creatures, like some of these little flying creatures, but there are also these huge Godzilla-type things and other creatures that kind of fly around and mess up your town. But basically, you just bring supplies back to the town and try to improve your score. And it's like, I only got a very brief taste of it, like, so my level was very low, my equipment was crap, but basically, it's just like, I don't know, it's just really intriguing and kind of weird and kind of, it's fun at the same time and also gorgeous, like I mentioned. But yeah, I don't know, it's like a weird communist Minecraft almost, like, except you're
Yeah,
there's a lot more online stuff
loop.
into it, you know, like because you're playing with other players online and working together to create a town or help a town or whatever.
Yeah, it reminds me of Minecraft in the fact that you get your tools, you go out to a place, you mine, you bring back the resources. All the resources are used in the town, so you don't benefit. Everyone benefits, and everyone has to work together to increase the town and keep the town like safe, keep it just looking cool. I remember that I spent a long time trying to make that town my residence because you can't live there if there's like a maximum number of people to live there. So then I need to make a city hall. I try to make one. So I spent a couple hours trying to help this town. In the end, the idiots in that town didn't make a city hall, and they made an extra like fifth power amplifier or something like that. And I just left the game because I got annoyed at that. But yeah, it's like a Minecraft where everyone benefits and you work together as a town.
Yeah, like you can find like other towns too. Like I actually did that in the beta. Like when I first got in, there was like a. You know, it was at capacity, so I couldn't build a house. But then I went to a much smaller town and was able to build a house. And yeah, like there's a ton of different towns that you can go to join. So it's like if it's full, like you don't necessarily have to stay in that town and stuff. But yeah, no, it's definitely interesting. And yeah, I'm curious when they're going to come out with that and how much it's going to cost. You know, especially since it's always online. I assume hopefully it won't cost too much, but definitely is a cool and unique game, you know, and it is nice to see Q Games try to step up and do something much higher end than what they're usually doing, which is the pixel junk stuff, which I mean, not hating on it, but I'm like, you know, those are kind of like, you know, more indie type stuff, while this Tomorrow Children is more like AAA indie type thing. Like it's not like a AAA game, but it's AAA quality, so it's like I do like to see them try to do that. Like anytime indie developers try to do that AAA quality, I like to see that, you know, because I'm a bit sick of 8-bit games and all that crap. So, but so yeah, so you were saying what you have other games you've been playing lately?
Yeah, just like 2 more. I finished the Talos Principle after a couple weeks of playing that.
Nice. How long did it take?
I found all the stars.
How long did it take?
Oh, I don't know. That's also kind of mixed. I'm not sure. More than 8 hours, I'd say. Maybe 10. I'd say 10.
Cool.
But yeah, there was some puzzles that were really annoying. You know, I just looked up the solutions online. The stars, I got all the stars. I had to use a guide for that because there was no way I was gonna figure it out myself without wasting my time. So then I got all the endings for that, and then I just sort of stopped playing PS4 because then I got addicted to Danganronpa, and I think that's all my games. That's it for this past few weeks, or week or 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, like I've already run into some puzzles that don't seem solvable at all, and not even just those those ones with the stars. Like, there are certain things where like you have to contact a messenger or something, and I haven't found their resting place or whatever. So I don't know, but
for that you have to collect the stars.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, what the hell?
I don't remember. There was some stuff I had to do. I think it was the stars. You collect the stars. Once you have all the stars, you put them into the sigil passcode. You end up to another world. From there, there's a puzzle in the world, and then you solve the puzzle to awaken the messenger. And then when the messenger helps you out on a puzzle, but there are only 3 messengers in the world or in the game. So
yeah, damn that. It's I might have to look it up too because there are some things in that seem impossible. So, the rest of it I really enjoy, but yeah, no, it's just that like the puzzles that don't seem like
it's a great game.
If there's any way to solve them with what you have available, those ones are kind of bugging me a little bit. But yeah, I'll just look it up. I'll just cheat. Just hoping not to, but screw it. You know, life's too short to spend 3 hours trying to solve one puzzle. But I think, Brian, you're next. What have you been playing lately? Still, was it Dark Cloud 2, I think?
Yep, a lot of Dark Cloud 2. Maybe not a lot of, but a good amount of Dark Cloud 2. But I don't know, the same things I've basically been playing the last couple of weeks. Xenoblade on Wii U, a little bit of Lego Dimensions.
Yeah, it's a great game.
That it is. Trails of Cold Steel on Vita. As of this weekend, some of The Witness, but I don't play it too much because, well, I can get through some of it. Most of it just makes me feel like an idiot, so it's really depressing. But really fun and really pretty. And then as of last night, some Digimon on Vita.
Nice.
That's cool. That how's that game? That Digimon game? Is it like a Pokemon clone? What's it like?
It's basically Pokemon for Vita with trophies. No, slightly more like internet online based story. Something about being hacked and getting the ability to capture Digimon, and then you're given 3 starters and then fight some things, and I might be short selling it because I've only played it for a few hours, but I mean so far I really like it. It just seems like a more complicated Pokemon, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Just I haven't really spent too much time with it just yet, but I'm enjoying it. It's fun. It's Pokemon with trophies.
Right. Awesome.
Cool. Well, this week we're hopefully going to have a little fun with this topic, but we wanted to discuss the rash of idiots on the internet that we see anytime there's a PSN outage, no matter how short and how few people it affects, and any time the new PS Plus games are mentioned for the month. And it's like every time either of these things happen, just go to the comment sections. I mean, you might as well grab some popcorn because there's just some ridiculous people in there saying the dumbest things you've seen, and then other people fighting with them. Sometimes I'm one of them.
Like me.
Yeah, Brian also joins in. But
most of the time.
it's just ridiculous because there's a lot of ignorance going on. Like this past week, I think for the first time in a couple months or something, there was a supposed outage. For me and millions of other people, I assumed it wasn't an outage, but that didn't stop people on the comment section from going off like it's the end of the world and like Sony is doing nothing with their money, this and that. And as far as PS Plus, I mean, because they made it mandatory for PS4, and it was funny because one of the people complaining he eventually admits that, yeah, that's why I never bought a PS4. I got a PS3, this and that, free online, this and that. And it's like, why are you complaining about PS4's outages? I mean, or PSN's outages if you don't even have a PS4? Like, how would you know how good or bad it is? But anyway, recently I actually noticed that for sure PSN is better, and it's like I've been saying this for a long time because we've been getting less and less outages over time, despite the fact that over the past 2 years, because of PS4 selling like hotcakes, we've had a huge influx of players. I mean, there's got to be millions of new players on PSN, yet the network seems more stable than ever. And especially recently, I noticed the downloads are way faster. I did the math, actually, because it seemed like it was going as fast as my connection can go, and it was actually doing that. Like, it used to never do that. It used to be, like, about 50% of most people's download speeds. I've heard a million different other people reporting the same thing about PSN, but, like, they used to only let you download half as fast as your connection can handle. Now it's at 100%, and there's just no way that that could happen without them actually improving the network. It wouldn't just jump up like that unless that they had improved servers and allowed for people to download things for faster. Like, I mean, it's as fast as Steam, which is a good thing because Steam is pretty fast as far as the downloads go. And yet you still have the people that are going off in the comments, saying that PS Plus sucks, going to Xbox Live, and Xbox Live is better, or this and that, and yeah, it's just ridiculous. So, Brian, you've had some dealings this week with this crap, so I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah. I mean, it hurts my head sometimes seeing / reading / listening / replying to people who seem to not have any idea what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's granted, I'm no network engineer or software engineer or anything of the sort, but it doesn't really take more than common sense to realize that some of these things are some of these complaints are ridiculous. I mean,
Totally.
yeah, you for one thing, people complain about PSN not being better. If PSN's not better, how can we have 2,000 friends instead of 200? How come?
Yeah.
Like you said, downloads go faster.
Way
How
faster.
come pretty much every PS4? I mean, it's kind of the way the system works now, but it basically works at its best when it's online,
Mm-hmm.
and barely works at all except for playing games when it's offline. So you have to assume of the 36 million PS4s out there, the vast majority of them are online, dealing with
Yeah.
the network at the same time instead of PS3, where it wasn't that big of a deal if you were offline. You could still do most things offline just fine without it yelling at you to go
Well,
online.
You couldn't do too many things in general in PS3, but yeah, I know what you mean. Like, there's definitely a lot of things that you need to be
Trophies?
online for. Yeah. Yep.
I don't know. They made a huge change with trophies. Those are they used to be, I think, locally based and server based,
Mm-hmm.
so that you would have trophies on your PS3 / Vita and on the PSN in the servers. But now you can't view them on the PS4, so I assume it's completely server based, which is nice because instead of the 5 minutes or longer it would take to sync my
Yeah.
trophies on PS3, it takes 10 seconds or
I
less
was
now.
just gonna mention that. Yeah.
And then, of course, you have the simple fact that you have a PSP that still goes online and works. You have Vita, you have PS3, you have
Mhm.
PS4, and you have the Sony website, all handling PlayStation-related things at the same time, and they all work really well together. I mean, certain things, PSP doesn't really work with PS4 anymore because of just how, they weren't really made together in mind, like, Vita and PS4 were, but still, you have all these things working simultaneously on one network, and they work pretty well. I mean, you look at the Sony website for the store, that's great. You look at the Microsoft Xbox store, it's fucking awful,
Yeah.
and it makes no sense. And it's slow. It's a lot slower than Sony's. You just have all these things working in conjunction with one another, and then, what was I saying earlier? Different regions across multiple continents, across, dozens of countries, all doing the same thing at the same time. So, of course, every once in a while you're going to have issues, but what can you do about it? I mean, it's impossible for everything to work flawlessly all the time when you're dealing with millions of units across dozens of countries, different time zones, different network setups. There's so many fucking variables that it's mind-blowing to me that people complain about this. Absolutely mind-blowing. If you haven't noticed, this episode is going to be rated fucking R.
Fuck yeah. I mean, I find it hilarious that, like, there's so many people cunting about these issues, and it's like they didn't even try to go online with their PS4. Like, they're just complaining for the sake of complaining. Like, I noticed that a lot with these. Anytime, I think this is why PSLS does an article every time there's some reported outage, no matter how short-lived or how few people are experiencing it, is because tons of people click on it every time. I mean, they even did like a little opinion piece with the staff at PSLS about this issue, and it's like they always mention how there's like 150 comments every time there's a PSN outage. Because yeah, go ahead.
Oh, just a quick interjection. In the article that was posted just today,
Mm-hmm.
whatever day this is, the 3rd of February, every editor basically says the same thing. Sure, shit happens, but it's not that big of a deal.
Totally.
All of them said that.
Yeah, I was going to put in a blurb for that, but I couldn't think of anything to say that I really felt needed to be said. It's ridiculous that I even have to comment on it. I think.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, and like I said, it really seems like most of the people that are all up in arms about this don't even necessarily play online games all the time. Like, they're more bitching over the principle of us having to pay for PS Plus and then the network going down. Like, this, just because that we pay for PS Plus, the network should never be down. That's just so stupid. I mean, it doesn't matter what. Any network... Hell, YouTube has downtime. Twitter has downtime. Google has downtime. Every single... You can't run a network without having maintenance and just general downtime at all. Like, I mean, it's just not possible. And it's just funny that people think that just because we pay, that we're entitled to have it working 24/7. Even if it doesn't affect them at all. Like, it seems like most of them, it doesn't affect them. They're just complaining because they want to complain because, I don't know, maybe they're trolls, maybe they're just miserable cunts. I don't know. But,
for me, yeah, it's basically just the entitled attitude that just drives me insane. Like, when I'm on there, responding to people's comments, and they're talking about how, they shouldn't have, Sony should undo making people pay for PlayStation Network. I'm like, are you insane?
Yeah.
That's such a thing of the past. And you get so much more for your money than you did when Xbox Live started charging.
Oh, totally.
There was no PlayStation Plus with them, that's something Sony did to give you more for your money, and then they started charging for online capabilities as well. But I mean, they are giving you they're giving something to you for your investment, and that is something they started doing. And I don't know, it makes me so mad to think you look at your phone bill, and yeah, you can't always make a phone call, but your phone bill is $70 a month. PlayStation Network is $50 a year, and personally, I've never had a problem this generation.
You know what? That's a really good analogy. I mean, that's a really good comparison.
Yeah, that's what I was going to type in that response, was I was going to say, my internet at home costs $50 a month, and I have problems, dipping down, so I can't get Wi-Fi in my room. My phone bill is $70 a month, and every once in a while I have trouble, connecting to LTE, and my texts, aren't going out. Mm-hmm. And both of those things happen more often than the PlayStation Network going down, and I pay more per month for those than I do for PlayStation Network a year. And so to complain about it is just absolutely ridiculous. Not to mention all the free games you get every month.
Yeah, and that's another thing, with people just being ridiculously entitled is the free games. I mean, every time they come out, there's just some of the dumbest comments you ever see is on those videos on PlayStation's YouTube channel that announces the games, and it's man, people just don't get it. They act like just because it's not a huge AAA blockbuster, just because they don't like it, that it's a bad game, and that Sony's basically wasting our money and not giving us anything, and it's it's just so stupid. I read a comment today saying, I've had PS Plus this whole time, and I don't think they've given us one game that's worth playing. And I was just are you kidding me? Rocket League's not playing, Outlast is not worth playing, Injustice Gods Among Us ain't worth playing, Limbo isn't worth playing, Helldivers just came out, yesterday or Tuesday or whatever. I mean, there's so many, just on PS4 alone, I was picking from as far as games, I just rifled off a bunch of them, and it's dude, I mean, if you don't want to play any of those games, why do you have a PS4 in the first place? Because clearly you're not a gamer. You know what I mean? I just don't understand how some people can be that narrow-minded about something that's free. You know what I mean?
I mean, I just don't understand why they want, they're just desperate to get, a lower-quality AAA game instead of, a high-quality indie game. Not even, indie games, because some of them, are basically published by Sony,
Yeah. True, yeah.
Like Helldivers.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And
So, like, games like Transistor, like, why? I can't believe someone would rather play. They're, like, desperate to get, like, Knack, which, granted, I kind of like Knack a little bit. It wasn't
Yeah.
as bad as, like, some people said. But still, like, Transistor is, like, a fantastic game. That is, if you were, like, can get over, like, the, like, kind of, like, older looking aesthetic, like the, what is it called? Is that
isometric?
2.5D? Is that what that's called?
No.
The isometric.
Yeah, it's 3D.
Just
counted,
isometric?
But, yeah, I think it's
Okay.
isometric, I
Yeah.
think. Whatever.
But if you can get over, like, that viewpoint, like the Diablo-style viewpoint, like, that's way better than any of those, like, 5.56, grade games that people want. I never understand that.
The thing I don't understand is that, like, people say, oh, Knack should be free, or people were predicting that Knack would be a PS Plus game when it came out, and it's like, why would it? Like, I think we brought it up before, but people just don't realize that there is a reason for a AAA game to be free. Indies, because they cost less, it's usually because Sony makes a deal with the publisher or the developer to get it out for free, but AAA games, they always have a reason. Like, it's either to sell DLC, to sell a sequel, or something along those lines. And Sony has literally no reason to make Knack free. Like, there is no incentive there because there's no sequel, there's no DLC. Basically, they're giving away a free game just to shut people up, and it's like, that's just not what Sony's going to do. I mean, Sony intelligently cares more about gamers like us that, actually play games instead of the whiny cunts on the forums that cry about not having an AAA game every month for PS Plus on PS4. And it's just like that's what makes me glad about the fact that they made PS Plus mandatory. Well, at least for online play. I just love seeing those idiots get mad. I mean, maybe I'm vindictive, but I laugh at it. Like, I mean, it does bug me because, like, I just don't understand the mentality. But at the same time, I do find it hilarious because they don't have a choice. If they want to play online, they have to pay, and they have to get these awesome free games. And I do kind of just wish that maybe they would actually try them, because I used to be pretty narrow-minded too when I first got a PS3. I wasn't really much of a gamer at the time, but because the games were free, I tried them, and I'm so glad I did, because it's opened my eyes to so many different types of games, and just completely changed me as a gamer. I mean, thanks to PS Plus, I still think it's one of the best investments you can make in gaming, because it's so cheap, and you get so much from it. Like, I mean, we get well over $1,000 worth of games each year, I think, just on PS4 alone, maybe, or...
Dude, I'd say it's absolutely the best deal in games.
And so it's like, it's just so funny that people are like freaking out, like saying, oh, it's the biggest ripoff, I'm not renewing my subscription. And that's another thing I don't get, is like, why would you not renew your subscription? I mean, even if you don't play online games, that means you're not going to be able to play any of your PS Plus games when you do that. So it's like, why wouldn't you want to just have it all year round? I don't know. But some people are just like that. And, the people that do not want to pay for PS Plus, they have nothing to complain about compared to the people for Xbox Live, because if you don't pay for Xbox Live, you lose basically every online function that console has. Like, you cannot send messages to your friends, you can't party chat, you can't even have friends, you can't. I don't even think you still can't use Netflix on it, right?
I don't know about that one.
I don't know if they
I'm not
changed
sure
that,
about
but
that. I think that's how it was on 360.
It definitely
but I'm
was,
not
yeah.
sure. I think Xbox One. I think that's changed now.
Yeah, it was a big deal a while back, but I think it's
is it?
fine.
Well,
it. Yeah.
But like I was saying, I mean, you can't even create an account or add friends or send messages or party chat when you don't pay for your Xbox Xbox Gold or whatever. So it's like the people that don't want to pay for Plus, they have very little to complain about compared to Xbox players. And it's funny, they say, "Oh, I'm going to Xbox this and that." If you don't want to pay a yearly fee for your online services, Xbox is not the place you want to go. Like, because
And games with gold are worse,
yeah,
usually.
I mean, it's funny, like, they'll sometimes bring examples, oh, this month Gold has this and that, and it's like, well, yeah, they have better games this month, but all those games you just mentioned were on PS Plus years ago. Xbox Live Gold is just
that
catching
drives
up.
me nuts.
Like, they're just catching up, yet they're getting credit as if they're doing something great, when really they're just finally catching up to stuff that PS Plus has been doing for years. Since 2012, I think they started really doing it heavily. So it's just, I don't know, it's just ridiculous, and the entitlement that we're seeing from the gamers in this generation is just ridiculous. But also, I think it's just the internet in general. It's just like people just want to bitch for the sake of bitching. Like, I think a lot of the people that write comments and stuff like that are more often than not bitching about something. So I think that's why we see so much of it. But so yeah, you guys have anything else to add?
I mean, just that, like, friggin' hate, like, how these people just, like, won't shut the fuck up. They just refuse to just be happy and, like, be glad that they get these free games, and, like, they don't even want to try them. They just like to bitch about it, and it just drives me insane. And it's every month too. It's like there's no end.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying. I mean, personally, I'm not as bothered by it as you guys. You guys seem very what's the word? Passionate about this. I often don't look at that. I mean, whenever I do see the comments, it annoys me. But I mean, it's just the closed-minded nature of some people. Just sort of, it's ridiculous to even believe that people like that exist. Like, it's hard to believe that people are so dumb. I don't know. It's ridiculous. I mean, some people just think that everything should be handed to them, and nothing costs money, and there's no work put into making some games. Like, they don't realize the hard work that some people do. And they're like, oh, well, it's like a indie game, so that means it should be on an iPhone or something. Or like, oh, it probably didn't cost them anything. Or like, oh, they're probably not even thinking about the developers themselves. So it's just, I don't know. It's ridiculous what people think and say.
Yeah, I mean, maybe some of the comments are just like kids that don't know any better. I mean, I hope so.
Possible.
I hope so, because if there are adults running around that are that dumb, God, is the world fucked.
I'm sure there are.
I mean, no wonder why we have terrorists.
If they're kids, then the God of the world is fucked.
Yeah, too. That's true too. But I mean, hopefully they'll grow up and realize how stupid they're being. But yeah, no, I mean, it's funny and frustrating at the same time. Like, I love seeing these dumb comments, but at the same time, it's just like, man, how can you be that fucked up in the head? Like how can you guys say things like that? Like, people freaking out about the outages on PSN. I mean, last year what did we have? Like 3? You know what I mean? Like the Christmas Day thing, that's understandable. I mean, although PSN obviously couldn't do anything about that, but like that's one thing, like being offline for a whole day. But over the past year, there wasn't any single time where we were offline for more than, I don't know, 3 hours maybe. Like, I don't know, and I wasn't even online at the time. I just know from checking PlayStation Lifestyle and stuff. But
yeah, I mean, like, it was Christmas. Usually I'm with my family on Christmas. I'm not playing games, so I don't know.
No, totally. And I mean,
there's.
Go ahead.
There was that Christmas 2014, I think it was, where both Xbox and PlayStation Network were hacked. And they were kind of on and off for a couple days, but I mean, I'm pretty sure I recently read something about Sony needs to do better so they don't get hacked, and I just almost lost it, because what are you supposed to do against a DDoS attack? I mean,
Do better.
ugh.
Yeah, that's
Just
that's
people,
another thing.
stupidity, and people physically hurt me, and that's happening way too much with this generation of kids growing up, and
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to watch.
it really is.
I mean, I'd say I'm all right, so I think we're not all bad.
You're one of the few, Juan Ibarra.
Yeah, I try.
Yeah, some others weren't so fortunate to be blessed with a brain. So, yeah, I mean, it's not like it. Like, I just don't know why people make such a big deal about the outages. Like, because I mean, really, like, I can't say that there's been many times I was even online when there was an outage. But even if there was, single player games. That's not, you know, like there's so many great ones. I just don't understand like some people that they just won't play single player games, or actually I don't even think it's that. Like I think it's, you know, like I was saying earlier, it's just people bitching for the sake of bitching. Like like I said, like it seems
Yeah,
like
probably.
a lot of the people that are whining are just whining because PS Plus costs money. I mean, because online multiplayer costs money now. I really think that that's all that it is. Because at least more recently, you know, this recent outage, like I didn't read a ton of the comments, but the ones I saw were like people I know that they definitely play offline games, and like they definitely are gamers, but they're still crying about this outage just because of the fact that they have to pay for PS Plus, and it's like. It's fucking $50 a year. What is it? How much a day is that? Like a couple of cents a day.
I've done the math, and it's about 6 cents a day, 6 or 7 cents.
And it's
There we go.
that
So-
makes the difference for people. Like that makes it so that it's okay to completely get up in arms about the thing being offline. When last generation, yeah, it was free, but it also was offline way more often. There was way more problems with some of the, like, you know, sub-services of PSN, like, you know, the friends list or the, you know, like you were saying, the trophy syncing. And in general, as far as the network
Over
goes,
5 minutes.
we are...
That was awful.
Yeah. No, I remember, like, I couldn't even do it because, like, it would take so long. Like, I would leave it for a half hour sometimes and it wouldn't be done. And, like now, it's just like pretty much instant, and oh shit! I was gonna.
I mean, were the people not around for the 2011
Hack?
month-long? Yeah, that was bad.
Totally, yeah.
And I'd say that Sony's gotten a lot better since then, because back then there was no one you could turn to. It was just sort of, oh, sorry, it's down, and we're fixing it. And that was an update probably every week or so. It wasn't even that constant. I remember being annoyed by that because they didn't say the problem. They didn't say anything. They just kept it to themselves. Just like, oh, don't worry, it'll be up. And it took a month and a half or a month and a week or so. I mean, nowadays, it goes down for like a few people, and Sony's on Twitter already saying, "Don't worry, it's just this problem right now, or we're fixing it." Or like they have like the status page now. People can go there and look at the status of the network.
Yeah.
It's a lot better now than it used to be, and people still complain for no
It almost
reason.
seems like the fact that there is a status page and there is a Twitter, that people bitch more often. Like, because they see for sure that it's not just their internet, or like they know that it's the whole network, so it's that gives them an excuse to start crying about it. And I mean, yeah, last gen was definitely a lot worse and very different. Sorry, Brian, go ahead.
Oh no, you can finish. I have a completely different thought.
Well, last gen, like there was always the notion that Xbox Live was better than PSN, and in the beginning, I mean, it probably was. Like PSN had a lot less users, but the thing that always bugged me is people saying that, oh, Call of Duty has much more lag on PSN when Call of Duty has peer-to-peer based servers, but not only that, even there are servers that they do ping in each region to try to match up players. Those are owned by Activision, not PSN and not Xbox Live. It's the exact same for both networks. So, that's another misconception that a lot of these people have about these networks, is that Sony owns the servers for every game that's on PSN. No, they're exclusive games. They do fund those servers. And then there's multi-platform games, which pretty much all use their own servers. Like Battlefield does, Call of Duty, like I mentioned, although their servers don't do as much because it's peer-to-peer. But there are so many peer-to-peer based multiplayer games, yet people still had this, PSN still had the stigma that it had a lot more lag and it was much less stable, which is completely bogus. It's because it was all down to the players. I mean, and there were less players on PSN. Now there's way more players on PSN, and because of that, there's actually probably a lot less lag on PSN because there's better matchmaking. It's much easier to match up people from, a local area if there's more people playing. But PSN still seems to have some people still seem to think that PSN's online is not as good as Xbox Live's, and it just isn't true. And I mean, frankly, maybe it should be because Microsoft is a software company, so naturally they should be better at software. But to me, this generation, it doesn't even seem like they are. I mean, if you look at the Xbox dashboard, I mean, it was terrible and slow up until 2 months ago. And even after their most recent updates, which did, improve things quite a bit, you still have to sit there for 45 minutes installing a disc-based game. While on PS4, you put it in, it's done in 30 seconds. It's incredible what Sony, how much Sony has improved as a software company, in addition to their hardware. But I still think they could do a lot better as far as the PS4 firmware updates. When's the last time we had any significant update for the PS4? It's been a while, right?
Yeah, a few months.
And I mean, not that the PS4 really needs a whole bunch of more features. It's just a couple things that I think that PS4 could use, but it does seem like that Microsoft does add things, a lot more often. And
all the time. Yeah, it's cool.
And part of that is because they need to improve things because the dashboard was so bad to begin with. But at the same time, it is kind of something I'd be a little jealous of, that Microsoft is constantly trying to improve their interface, improve the Xbox in general over time, and they were like that last gen too, where the original Xbox 360 dashboard was completely different to the one in the end. But at the same time, Sony did a great job on the initial UI for the PS4, and I really just don't think there's that much to complain about as far as that sort of stuff. But still, people are out there still saying that Xbox Live is better, but I don't know. Whatever. Can't really worry too much about them people, but it's just these crazy bastards. Every time there's a PSN outage, they come out of the woodwork to, crucify Sony as much as they can, and it's
not
silly.
new, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's this very vocal, very fucking obnoxious minority that does it, and it's just this cancer of the gaming industry that's been there for well over 10 years now. I actually this sort of reminds me of when I used to play World of Warcraft when it first came out. The first 2 months, the game was nearly unplayable because of all the server issues and lag and just so much was wrong with the game, but that's because they didn't really expect millions of people to start playing all at once. And it's Blizzard, they're known for StarCraft, Warcraft, really stable, really good games, and today their pedigree is much higher because of what they've learned. But with World of Warcraft, for the first 4 years and 2 expansions, that game was a mess. Every time a new major content patch came out, the first year or two, they have server maintenance every Tuesday, so it's on a weekly basis versus PlayStation's monthly maintenance, first of all. So, Imagine paying $15 a month and not being able to play for 1 day a week versus a few hours at a $50 a year. It's a completely different story, though. But these people would come out and bitch and complain if server maintenance was supposed to end at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it was like 4 p.m. And they're just bitching and complaining on the World of Warcraft forums about how Blizzard needs to, refund them and give them more time and do this and that, and just say the stupidest fucking shit imaginable about how, they're suddenly software engineers and understand that this shouldn't happen and the game should be working hours ago. And I mean, this sort of thing fucking happens all the time. Look at every single fucking online launch of major games in the last couple of years. Remember when Diablo 3 came out on PC? That game was a mess. Remember when Final Fantasy 14 first came out? That game was kind of a mess.
That game had to get re-released.
Even the re-release, when it came out, the servers were so congested and the login servers and stuff like that were so bad that they had to boot everyone from the game, install a major patch that kicked everyone off automatically if they stayed on too long, and then they limited the server sizes so you would have long queues. And I mean, it's a fantastic game, but still, that was really obnoxious. But it's just one of those things where sometimes you don't expect these random problems to happen because millions of people aren't trying to do the same thing all at the same time. I mean, right. SimCity, when that came out on PC again a few years ago, that game was a total mess for like a month.
Yeah.
And sure, that probably was good reason to complain. Not being able to, play Call of Duty online for a few hours a day is not a big fucking deal.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, you bring up some really good points. I mean, the thing they're complaining about is just nothing compared to like something that would actually be worth complaining of. I mean, like you mentioned, SimCity, that was crazy, that whole situation. I mean, that game, it didn't work at all, right? Because it is always online. It had this stupid DRM crap, and their servers messed up or something, so no one could actually play the game for, like, what was it, like a couple of days? Or it was a whole month? Holy shit. Jeez.
It was like a month before it was actually straightened out enough to play. I mean, after like a week, it was playable, but, rudimentary playable is not the same thing as actually playable and enjoyable playable, and it took about a month for it to be enjoyable playable. I specifically remember that there was a string of games that were online-centric that just fucking didn't work when they came out, and it was ridiculous. It happens. That is something you should complain about, not this.
Definitely. I mean, it seems to happen almost every time an MMO comes out, right?
Destiny was fine. People give Destiny a lot of shit, and for some, in some cases, good a reason, but that worked. How about that? That's Activision Blizzard. Blizzard learned. They figured it out. Now they're fine.
Yeah.
Call of Duty comes out. It almost always works just fine, the multiplayer. And that's a guaranteed, 7+ million hitting the online at the same time. Did Sony realize that they were going to sell 8 million PS4s in a 3-month span between October and January for the holidays? Probably not. Guess whose online was the most stable during that time? PlayStation's and Sony's.
It was,
How about
that?
That?
It was, because, Steam had issues with, account info getting, exposed or something. Not to mention, just general, the whole network being down. I remember a couple times it was down for me, and not just my usual login troubles that I have for some stupid reason, but, that Steam had a lot of problems, and I think Xbox had some outages too, and I was actually pretty surprised the PS4, PSN in general, was online for pretty much the whole holiday season, despite, like you said, 8 million consoles being sold, which is crazy. And
they had, in early January, a few hour outage, and they gave us a free day of Plus.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
and that was the only real outage. Yesterday, or the other day,
Yeah, that wasn't even...
maybe down for a couple people randomly.
Yeah, yesterday, I think it was 2 days ago, but that wasn't even a real outage because almost nobody on my friends list was actually off, or had any troubles at least. There was, pretty much my friends list was full as far as online players, but, yeah, it's it really was surprising to me that PSN just seemed like it had way less trouble this holiday season, and I remember pretty specifically that when PS4 first came out, or even the holiday season in 2014, it was definitely noticeable. You could notice that a lot of people were trying to get online and PSN was having trouble. Downloads were slowing down to slower than ever. But this holiday season, not only was it stable, but the download speeds actually got faster and faster. Yet, every time there's an outage, you still have these people swearing that Sony has done nothing to improve PSN, and that the PS Plus money has gone to pay off their debts and stuff, just dumb comments like that. And it's have you guys not been playing the past couple of months? Have you not seen the sales numbers? Have you not seen how much faster your games are downloading? You know what I mean? There are all these signs and evidence and facts that point to Sony being improved, but they're not hearing it. I remember that was one of the few comments I left on that article, with everyone arguing with each other and crying about PSN being out, and that was all I had to say. Is here are the facts, and yet you guys are still crying like your conspiracy theory is the truth. You have nothing to back it up other than just your own dumbass, feeble excuse for a theory. It's pretty ridiculous that it happens every time PSN goes offline, though. Maybe because it's not planned, because like you said, there are mandatory, maintenance periods that some games have, and I don't know, people maybe tend to bitch less because it's planned, but I don't see how that should be any different. Just because it's not planned doesn't mean that, or just because they don't tell us doesn't mean that it's not, that it's all of a sudden a huge deal. Especially when it was as short as it was, and people tend to flip out about these outages before they even realize how long they last, because sometimes they'll only last a half hour, not even. People will still be arguing in the comments for hours after that, and meanwhile PSN was back up within 20 minutes or something. But did you guys happen to find any dumb comments that you wanted to share?
I didn't really have any. I see them all the time. People are just ridiculous sometimes about the two things I see are the PlayStation Plus saying that they need to come out with good games. I'm like, are you serious? Even if you like AAA games, turn on your PS3. The PS3 gets some of the best games of last generation for free.
Yeah.
And then the other stuff is just people saying that they shouldn't have to pay for online, or they shouldn't have to pay for PlayStation Network. I'm like, in this day and age, it costs money. You got to pay to get something. It's costing Sony money to provide, so you just have to pay for it. It's really not that complicated. But people are just very selfish these days, and it's very frustrating to see.
The funny thing is, last gen, I remember hearing these Call of Duty, type gamers that play online all the time, saying, I wish Sony would charge for PSN like Xbox does, because then maybe the online will be better. Now it is better, and now they're complaining about having to pay. But I did actually just pretty quickly find a couple dumb comments. One is, I already own Helldivers, so can I expect the refund from Sony? Another one. Wow, I just feel like shooting myself. Another month, another huge disappointment. Please do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, some people.
But, oh man, yeah, it's good stuff. But I don't know. You guys have anything else you want to share about it?
That's about it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've said everything I need to say.
All right.
I'm just going to say one last thing, and
Go
that's
for it.
as much as I may defend Sony against these outages, I don't necessarily think that PSN is infallible or perfect. It can always get better.
Oh yeah.
It can always improve.
Yeah, definitely.
But that doesn't mean it deserves a fraction of the shit that it constantly gets every time something like this happens.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, at the end of the day, the biggest problem I have with any comment that I see. I mean, of course, we should all want something better out of it, but whining and crying and saying Sony fucking sucks is not the way to do it. And it's just, that's what most comments seem to be. Either that or calling me out for some weird reason in a completely different topic. You saw that, Hugo, right?
Yeah.
Fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I saw that. But, I mean, it's funny,
But,
like, 'cause...
that's...
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, that's the main point I always come back to whenever I'm arguing with any idiot online is just that. It could always get better, but it doesn't deserve the shit that you get because it still works a lot better than most other services, whether you are intelligent enough to realize it or not.
Yeah, I mean, it's proof that some people can only focus on the negative, because, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that PSN has got better, and yeah, and then the PS Plus game thing, I mean, whatever, those people can keep crying about it, and I'll keep laughing at them. Hopefully I'll just not let it bother me, like, because sometimes it does, but usually I just laugh at how ridiculous these people are, like, you know, like some of those comments I just read were actually from the PS Plus games video or whatever, so anytime you want to see some dumb comments, that's always a gold mine, is the Instant Game Collection video and any article about PSN outages. It's gold mine for moron comments, but
that's where you'll find me, Brian Mieszala, on the PlayStation Lifestyle.
dropping some knowledge on these fools. But yeah, I think that just about does it. We'll wrap it up. Thanks for listening, everybody. We will talk to you next time, and hopefully it'll be rated R again.